Okay, very good. Sorry. Hello, madam. This is my teammate. I'm Basan Rao, and this is my team members Sanjay, Abubakar, and Nisha. So today I'm going to present the introduction of the Role Conference of Rulers. From the Role Conference of Rulers meeting has been contributed various basic capacities, including a black ball, control over some established changes, option to consider some government arrangements and options in the public approaches. In the part of the roles of conference rulers, the part of closing the Yang Dipertua Agung as a Timbalan Yang Dipertua Agung. It has the essential ability and excuse of the ruler. On the chance of the Lord and ruler to attempt a code under Article 182. The 5 pointed authorities are a common code. One of the chairs, the Lord Ruler, the partner of ruler of King Sina, a blameworthy in code. The gathering has the ability to allow observation, relief, arrest, reduction, and suspension, substitution, and sentence. Okay, next.
Okay, hello, madam. My name is Sanjay Rao, and I'm here to talk about objective. So when it's come to objective, all people should think why we have to do this assignment, this presentation about our kings. So when it's come to monarch system is a system where the kings rule the country and involved with joint force with the government as well. So why do we have to know about the monarch system? The monarch system is a very old system which we kept until this day, and for our younger generation, they are very confused with this monarch system because they are lack of information, plus their interest is going through the phones, and their objective and their perception about the monarch system is a part of their thinking. Like, they think if a king rules the country, they think it's not going to be good. It's good when it's run by a government, by the mantri and so on. So what I'm going to talk is why we need to know about monarch system is we need to tell our younger generation to maintain the knowledge of the monarch system, and to make the younger generation to go to the politics and be a part of the monarch system as well. So what they are gaining from it is they will know about our country, and they will know about our resources and so on. So I shall pass to my teammate. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Vasan. I'm going to talk about the functions of the YDPA, and there's a few things that I mentioned, but I'll take the most important point and I'll explain it. So one of the most I'm going to explain, election of the king, which is the under Article 38, bracket 2. The Majlis Raja Malaysia has important constitutional function of electing young YDPA and Timbalan YDPA, the signature, the power in the name of respect to delegate a Majlis Raja. And the second thing will be the most important, the religion. The Sultan are the head of Islam in their states, and the conference can agree or disagree the extension of any religious or acts to the federation of the world. Privilege of Article 38 and bracket 5 requires to the conference and consult before changes of policy relating privilege to Malaysia relative to the Sabah, Sarawak, and Mate. And special code if the Yang Dipertua Agung, a sultan is subject to judicial proceeding to a civil criminal code. Article 182 requires that court for 5 judges to a woman shall be nominated by the Majlis Raja. And the last thing, the national policy, the role contains a tremendous potential. The conference with a unified advisory role. The conference will authorize a deliberate on the question national policy. Example, we can say changes of immigration policies and other matter in things. And the function of direction because the rules are according to the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister are bound the advice rendered. And they act a constitutional expertise authorized to confer the rules by YDPA. That's all from my part.
Good evening, madam. My name is Shalini. My part is Conference of Conflation. Under the Federal Conflation of Conference of the Rule has been invested with a number of critical constitutional functions, including whether a power of some inclusional element right to be consult some key government appointments and right to deliberate on nation policy, including the matters relating to Islam and Malay privileges. The Constitution has the great constitutional role of electing the Yang Pertuan Agong and the Timbulan Yang di-Pertuan Agong. It has the dramatic power to dismiss the king. If the king or the rule is to be tried in a court under Article 182, the Conflation has the automatically to appoint two of out the 5 judges on the special court. If the king or sultan or insultant of the king or sultan is found quality in court in conference as the power and grant the pardon, previous respite, remission, and substitution or conclusion of the sentence. That's all.
Okay, good evening, madam. My name is Abu Bakr, and I'll be explaining about the role and the function of the YTPA. The YTPA is basically the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, and the YTPA is a constitutional monarch. Basically, under the constitution, he is the supreme head of the federation. And thus, he is considered also the head of Islam in his home state and in the rest of the states, such as Malacca, Penang, Sabah, Sarawak, and the federal territories of Kuala Lumpur, Labuan, and Putrajaya. And he is also considered as the supreme commander of the armed force. The YTPA is also elected by the Conference of Rulers from among 9 rulers of the states for a term of 5 years. And this selection is by rotation. So that means that the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri of the other 4 states cannot become the YTPA and cannot participate in the election of the YTPA. The YTPA may also resign his office by writing to the Conference of Rulers. The YTPA may also be removed by the office, by the Conference of Rulers from his office. As such, the functions of the YTPA they come dependent and independent in December. Dependent, that means the YTPA's powers come from the Constitution, and also the Constitution provides that in exercising his functions, the YTPA must generally follow the advice of the Prime Minister or the Cabinet. For example, in appointing a judge either for the Supreme Court or just like the normal courts, the YTPA must act on the advice of the Prime Minister. As such, the Prime Minister must advise him whether it's basically the Prime Minister has to advise him who to choose, who to elect, and who to remove from the courts. For the appointment and the dismissal of all cabinet ministers, the YTPA must also act on the advice from the Prime Minister as such. And also in event of an emergency in which the nation wants to proclaim emergency, the YTPA cannot do it by himself. He can't just proclaim emergency for the entire nation. He must act on the cabinet. That means he must take the advice of other cabinet members and other maybe state ministers, basically. Also, in summoning and during the Diwan Rakyat, the YTPA must act on the advice of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. This means if in case there is a Diwan Rakyat, the YTPA can just summon it by himself. He can just send to other companies, oh, we're going to start. No, there has to be a reason, and the reason has to be discussed with the Cabinet and the Prime Minister. As such, if it's valid, then they can summon the Diwan Rakyat and also vice versa. So he cannot just dissolve the Diwan Rakyat by himself, in the middle of it. He must give either a valid reason or there must be a valid reason for it. and that same reason has to be accepted by the cabinet and the prime minister. Now into the independent part of the YTPA. This means that for more, like Asad said, most of his function and power depend on the cabinet and prime minister, the advice of the cabinet and the prime minister. For now, if let's say the whatever wants to act does not want to act on the advice of the cabinet or the prime ministers, as such, he can act on the appointment of the prime minister. So the YTPA can appoint a member of the Diwan Rakyat who is, in his judgment, is likely to command the confidence of the majority of the members. So basically, this means that if the YTPA has a like good judgment on a member of the Diwan Rakyat, and he's confident that they can lead the nation or the Diwan Rakyat, they can appoint them themselves, basically. Also, the withholding of consent to request to dissolve the parliament. This means that in case there happens a parliament, a nationwide parliament, the YTPA can dissolve it whenever he wants, and also can like summon not basically summon, just give like for it to be summoned, basically. Lastly, calling a meeting of the Conference of Rulers, concerned solely with the privileges, position, honors, and dignities of their Royal Highness and any action decided at the meeting. This basically means that he can start the meeting with the Conference of Rulers, solely basically even to discuss the smallest of matters. The Conference of Rulers has to attend to it compulsory, basically. And now I'm done with the functions and rules of the YTPA. Now I'll conclude the project by saying, in conclusion, as my teammate Sanjeev said, the objective of this project is to let people know and let people understand why must we understand the background of the Malay rulers, the history of the Malay rulers, and the roles of function of the Conference of Rulers and the roles of functions of YTPA. This is so that even as myself, as a foreigner, I must actually know this, so I could understand the system of the country I'm living in, or the nation that I'm living in. Also, it can also be about the locals. If locals do not understand the system that they are living in, this could actually help them with this. And such, people could use this as a material to like fully understand the Malaysian constitutional monarchy, basically. And that's it. And thank you, madam. This is it from us. Thank you, madam.